Hey everyone, I'm Alex and I love football. I play for the U12s at Bloomsbury Football Foundation, which is a charity in London. I'm here with TV presenter, advocate for women in sport and all-round legend, Gabby Logan. How are you, Gabby?
I'm all the better for hearing that introduction, Alex. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Today is very exciting. Normally Gabby asks the questions, but today it's my turn. It's a roles reversed interview. Are you nervous, Gabby?
A little bit, because I have no idea what you're going to ask me, Alex.
It's okay if you're nervous. I'll let you in on a little secret as well. I'm a bit nervous too. Can you give me your top tips on how to do a good interview?
Listen to what the person has just said. Often, I think when the start of my career, sometimes I'd ask a question and I was so intent on asking the next question that they might have said something incredible and I missed it because I was worried about what I was going to say next. So they might have said, "Oh, and tomorrow I'm going to go and have a brain lobotomy, and I'm getting my head chopped off." And I would have said, "And how do you think you'll play at the weekend?" So I think it's always good to listen. So you listened then, didn't you? You weren't thinking about your next question. You were thinking, "Oh, that was quite funny. Thank you."
What was your first memory of sport when growing up?
Oh, good question. So my dad was a footballer. So my very first memories of sport are watching him play football, going to football matches with my mum and my siblings when I would be 4 or 5 years old. And before that even, being sent to my grandparents while my mum went to watch my dad play and being picked up from my grandparents and hearing there was a famous TV programme called Grandstand. And it was a Saturday afternoon sports programme on the BBC. And that the music to Grandstand reminds me of my childhood. So in terms of me watching sport and being aware of sport, that's definitely my first memory.
Nice. What made you fall in love with football or sport?
I think probably going back to the family business being sport and seeing sport's ability to connect people, going to football games and seeing the passion that was in the crowd, the excitement, when you're winning, and then the disappointment when you're losing, all those range of emotions for me were exciting as a child. And I think seeing my dad up close, having to work really hard to be a footballer. When I started doing sport myself, I realised it takes practice, it takes time to perfect things, and it gave me, I think, a really valuable life lesson. And I met friends. I made great friends that I've had my whole life through sport. So I think we all, at the beginning of our sporting lives and journeys, and hopefully you'll experience this, we do it because it's fun. And we enjoy it. It might become something more serious and something that becomes professional, but at the beginning, it should be a great space to have fun with people your own age.
Yeah, I agree. Who are your sporting idols?
My sporting idols, I think when I was a child, the sporting landscape was very different to the one you're growing up in. You probably could tell me the names of a few of the lionesses, I'm guessing.
Leah Williamson. Yeah.
A few more, I'm sure, if you thought about it. And you've seen those women doing amazing things. When I was growing up, you didn't see women on TV playing much sport at all. You'd see maybe the odd golfer. When Wimbledon was on, there were tennis players. So Olympic Games, I saw women doing sport. And so my heroes came from those occasions. So I loved a tennis player called Steffi Graf, and she won Wimbledon quite a few times. And I also loved a lot of Olympians growing up. So the 1984 Olympics, there'd be somebody called Fatima Whitbread and Tessa Sanderson had a great battle in the javelin. You see how starved we were of sport back then? And so I had a lot of male role models as well. I loved the footballer Glenn Hoddle, played for Spurs, and my dad played at the same time. And I had a kind of very different vision of sport when I was a kid to a young girl growing up now. and also lots of gymnasts that you would not know the names of, so I won't even bother you with them.
Which pundit would you most trust to take a penalty for you?
Oof, what a good question. Well, somebody who takes penalties, I'm guessing. So of the pundits that I work for, there's only one really. His name's Alan Shearer. He was rather successful at scoring goals and taking penalties. So I think even now, even though I've seen him in the gym and I don't think his knees are quite what they were, I think Alan would probably be quite successful.
I know you're from a sporty family. How important is sport for you and your children?
Well, I think I probably passed on to my children what I grew up with. And my mum had 4 children who were all very sporty. And she was always dropping us off at various sporting kind of clubs and camps. And we were spending our holidays doing different sports. And so that was my norm, if you like, growing up. So I wanted my children to have passions in life. And I didn't mind if it wasn't sport, but I realised that sport gave me a lot. So I encouraged them to do lots of different things, but they found their way to sport. And so similar to my mum, I spent a lot of my kids' lives taking them around to sport. And obviously their dad was I can say he's still their dad, but he was a rugby player in the long distant past, long time before you were born. And so he grew up with sport as well. So I guess when the two of us came together, we had very similar passions about sport. So yeah, Kenny, my husband, their father, was also like me, quite like-minded, that it was a good way to pass your spare time doing something that was healthy. You know, you made friends and you got a passion for.
Yeah, definitely. Does it get really competitive in your household?
Very. Yeah, I mean, if my kids were here, they'd probably tell the story of the Rounders match where I didn't hear the rules had been changed. You know, normally it's 3 bowls and you're out, and we changed it to 2 because there were too many people, and I didn't concentrate on the first 2. And I think I actually stamped my feet and I wouldn't leave the field of play. That was quite an embarrassing moment that they loved. But they're as competitive as I am. So yeah, it does get quite competitive. When my son and I play tennis together, yeah, it can be quite interesting. And any sport really, golf, or even just walking across the kitchen, you know, we can turn anything into a sport really in our house, I think.
My dad told me you've got twins. I've got twin brothers. Do you ever get your twins mixed up? Or like people get my brothers mixed up?
This would be a good point in the interview to put a picture of my twins together, and you'd see how difficult it would be to get them mixed up, because my son is 6'6" and my daughter's about 5'9". So yeah, they're very different looking, and they're physically very different. But yeah, because they're boy and girl twins.
Well, I won't ask my dad to research for me ever again. I love to talk more about Bloomsbury, where I play football.
I'd love you to.
Everyone at Bloomsbury keeps on talking about the magic of football. What is that magic for you?
The magic of football, the way you can go 10,000 miles round the planet and you'll find somebody you can talk to about football. Wherever I go in the world, football is a universal language. And you can start off on a smaller level. It's your town or your village. I can get into a cab and the cab driver might want to talk about football. We might have nothing else in common. We might never have met, but we can connect through football and opinions. And that's on a kind of non-playing level. But the magic, I think, for me comes from I love seeing kids playing. You know, kids don't play in the street as much now, but you know, kids playing football just on a park, kind of putting their jumpers down and playing, just spontaneously deciding to have a game of football because the rules are quite simple. You know, it's easy to adapt and play with a different number of players, and it's a game that has, you know, gives so much joy to people, gives so much joy to fans, gives joy to those who play it. And as I say, it's a universal language. You know, my dad played for a team called Leeds United when I was born, and they were quite famous at the time around the world. And I can literally be somewhere like Brazil, and when I used to have my maiden name, if I said my name, they said, not Terry Yorath, and then they would start talking to me about that Leeds team from the 1970s, which I always found quite amazing. But then it was a way to connect and find something else that we had in common. So it's such a powerful sport, and it's played literally everywhere. So yeah, it's very difficult to find a corner of the world where you don't see Premier League shirts and passion for football.
Why do you think charities like Bloomsbury are important?
I think it's easy to assume that everybody has access to football, and actually that's not the case. And I think if a charity like Bloomsbury can help bring more children together through football and give them opportunities, and also take them on a journey, and also, you know, not just the sport itself, but the community coming together in ways that it hasn't before, then I think that's an incredibly powerful thing to be able to do. And I'm sure you've met people, have you, through Bloomsbury that you didn't know before?
Yeah,
made
definitely.
friends?
Yeah.
And is it given you, do you think, a bit more confidence in life?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so. Yeah.
And made you believe in yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
And do things that you never thought you could do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all those things are amazing. That's come from football. And it's, as the common language I was talking about before around the world, is just as important in our communities as well.
Why is it important for more girls to play football?
I think it's important for girls to have access to football because we've seen the power of football in the Lionesses and the kind of, you know, the incredible coming together that those 2 European victories had, and their World Cup final as well that they lost to Spain. And what would have been really sad at the end of those is if girls got inspired and wanted to play, but there was nowhere for them to play. And so I think over the last 10 years, we've seen the growth of the women's game. And that has to, of course, mean a growth in grassroots football. And I live in a small village in Buckinghamshire. And when I moved there 13 years ago, there was a kind of Saturday morning football, that the lads went along to. And I've noticed in the last 5 to 6 years, Saturday mornings, I see girls getting out of the car, their water bottles and their boots. I go for a walk with the dogs and I hear on the pitches a different noise, and that noise is girls playing football. And honestly, Alex, every time it nearly brings me to tears, because I realise how much, the power of kind of seeing what is possible from the Lionesses, I think, has really trickled down to that. And seeing dads with their daughters, as well as mums. But it's really important, I think, that both parents have that opportunity to get involved in their daughters' sporting lives. Because I think there was probably a generation or two ago where those dads might not have thought that was possible for their daughters, and why would their daughters want to play football? And now they can see that that's an amazing thing to do. So I love seeing that, and I love hearing that, and I think it's really important that we get our kids active and we give them opportunities to learn what it's like to win, to lose, and to be part of a team.
What's the best advice you would give to girls who want to play football but who think football is not for them?
If they want to play football, then to search out the nearest team that they can join and give it a go and just see what they think, because there's no harm in trying, is there? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you come away and you think, oh, I've enjoyed watching it, but it's actually not for me, then that's fine. You could just be a super fan. But actually, if you don't try it, you won't ever know what it's like to do it. And so many of the kind of lionesses that I keep talking about, the older ones, people like Lucy Bronze, who've been through a few different cycles of England's success, they started out in lots of other sports. Jill Scott was in other sports, before she really focused on football. And I think they now are really appreciative of the fact that, they were able to juggle lots of different things because football wasn't the main thing. But now it can be the main thing for lots of girls. And schools are realising this as well, which is really important. So offering a girls' team as well as a boys' team. So there are lots of different ways to try it out. It doesn't have to be your main thing, but give it a go.
I like to finish my interviews with a lightning round of quick fire questions.
Well, this is what I'm worried about, Alex.
I'm going to give you 2 question options, and I want you to choose your favourite. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
I think it does, yeah.
Don't worry. The questions will be very easy to answer.
So you say. This is where a 30-year career comes on start.
Rugby or football?
Oh, Alex, what an absolute shocker to start with. Gosh. So hard, because as you know, right, football is my kind of predominantly my professional life. I do a bit of rugby, but at home, 2 of the people in my household, that's half the household, have earned their living through rugby. So, but they both love football too. My son's a massive Arsenal fan, and he said his ambition in life is to earn enough money so he can get an Arsenal season ticket, and that's through playing rugby. So, both. Am I allowed to say both?
But if you had to pick one.
Oh, Alex. So hard. It's like being on Paxman in the early Newsnight era. Oh gosh, football.
Wales or Scotland?
Again, she's just struck me. Wales.
Lionesses or Red Roses?
Oh, are any of these questions easy? That's awful. I can't decide between those 2. I'll get sacked.
Premier League or FA Cup?
As much as, obviously, Richard Masters and his friends in the Premier League might not like this answer, the FA Cup. I don't even present the FA Cup. I mean, I'm involved in the Premier League every week. I'm going to lose my job.
Listen to a podcast or watch TV?
Oh, listen to a podcast. Watch TV.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, dogs. That was an easy one. That's the best question so far, because I don't even have to think about that. I've never owned a cat.
I would not agree.
Oh, but you're a cat person.
Yeah, definitely. The traitors or
You looked really upset with me when I said that then.
The traitors or I'm a celeb?
Oh, traitors. Definitely traitors. Yeah.
Your MBE or when you won Tesco Celebrity Mom of the Year 2012?
I tell you who was most surprised when I won Tesco Celebrity Mum of the Year? My kids. And they were only 6 at the time, and even they thought the judging was off. I'm going to say MBE. Not that I'm not proud of Tesco's Mum of the Year, you understand, but yeah, I'd say MBE.
Who is your dream interview guest?
Oh, you. I'd like to reverse the roles right now, I'm telling you. So let's move on.
Can we do this again sometime?
Absolutely. Let's have a recap and see if I've changed my mind on any of those. I'll probably say Premier League next time, by the way. So, yeah, I'm fickle like that.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do, actually. I'd like you to tell me a bit more about how you got involved with Bloomsbury.
Well, so when I was very young, my dad wanted me to play a sport of a kind, and so he tried. I think he tried many sports, but I'd always end up like crying or yelling or following the butterflies in my trail. But when it came to football, he used to drag me to practices, and I used to hate it. Like, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home with my, I don't know.
Cats?
I forget. No, that was later on in my life.
Okay. Why do you think you enjoyed Bloomsbury more then? What was it?
I feel like the teamwork and the collaboration and how you can play football with like your friends and know that is like a place where you can enjoy and like be free after school. And yeah.
Has it made you a football fan?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Do you watch the men's or the women's game or both?
Well, my brothers, they love the men's. They don't really like watching the women's.
Who are these boys?
Yeah, I do watch the women's one.
Yeah, you watch them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could name Leah Williamson for a lioness. She's a pretty impressive footballer, isn't she?
Yeah.
And so, do you think you'll play more throughout your school when you go, to maybe university, or is this something that you think's with you for life now, playing football? Because you've seen how important it is in terms of making friends.
I do wish I could continue, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay, but you enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Gabby, for being the perfect interview guest. It's been really fun to talk to you, and you're always welcome to one of our games. Gabby is joining Bloomsbury Football Foundation as an official brand ambassador to improve kids' lives through the magic of football. Thank you, Gabby.